stop! Before you hit the dislike button, please watch the whole video. Please watch the whole video. I'm going to explain myself. You can't just look at the title and dislike, okay? If you do that, you're a dumb person. Has-Been Hotel is a much hyped internet series created by Vivziepop, who has 1.5 million subscribers. I watched the entire thing a few times, and boy, do I have some words to say. Long story short, I was not impressed. Let's take a look. Has-Been Hotel begins with a very nice intro song, and the visuals during this song really build the setting for Has-Been Hotel. It sets up the art style, it sets up the world. The intro is actually quite good, and I really like it. I'm already immersed by the time the song is done.
Oh, I'm alive! I'm alive!
Just to be unimmersed faster than literally anything else I've ever watched with the most cliche children's cartoon joke. A character survives something dangerous, celebrates surviving, and is then made not alive. That's not the only joke of this type. After that, we learn that this guy has just sold himself, if you know what I mean, to this character. And then the same joke we literally just saw happens 2 more times.
Ouch! Ooh, such an insult. Let me know when you come up with something creative to call me, you sack of poorly packaged horse shit. Tell the missus I said hi. Schnuck'em. Back up.
The guy's car goes and crashes. He's presumed not alive. Then he goes over and gets some angel dust. Someone takes it. And then literally the exact same joke. Gets smashed by a boulder and is committed not alive.
Oh my god! My drugs!
Funny joke, oh my god. Drugs, oh my god. We had the exact same joke literally 3 times in a row there. In the span of less than a minute. It was like a span of 30 seconds. 3 different characters met their untimely fate as a joke. That was the same joke 3 times in a row. Has-Been Hotel is absolutely riddled with juvenile humor that you'd expect in a cartoon made for children, which would normally be fine, except this show is an adult show with adult humor, specifically aimed at older audiences, as the description of the video itself says. This juxtaposition of juvenile humor and adult humor in the same cartoon is frankly just uncomfortable. It feels like the show doesn't know what it wants to be. I thought Family Guy and The Simpsons were juvenile in their humor, but Has-Been Hotel feels like a straight up carbon copy of a Nickelodeon cartoon in terms of humor, with adult jokes wedged between incredibly juvenile jokes. And even the adult jokes are juvenile.
Thanks for the fun time, hot stuff.
Yeah, listen. Keep this discreet, you hear me? I can't let it get out I'm offering my services to randos on the street. It was a quick cash grab. You got it?
Whatever you say, slut.
Oh my god! My drugs!
Looks like they're fighting tooth and nail for that hot spot.
And I'd sure like to nail her hot spot.
You are a lip-dick jackass, Tom. Or should I say, no dick.
Daddy.
The adult jokes fall behind even Family Guy in terms of how juvenile the jokes are. And Family Guy is as basic and face value as it gets when it comes to adult humor. I don't like the humor. You may think it's hilarious, but if adults are really watching this and getting a laugh, that explains a lot about this community and the way it handles drama and controversy on the internet, which is in a very juvenile and childish way. There's no depth to the jokes. It feels like Vivziepop, or whoever wrote this, had the goal of squeezing as many bad words and inappropriate concepts in as possible, without taking the time to write it out in a more tactful and more adult way. Adult jokes are supposed to be clever. It's supposed to require a little bit of brain power, a little bit of thinking to understand the joke. But the adult jokes in Has-Been Hotel just aren't clever. It reminds me a lot of 13-year-olds when they learn what is for the first time and the jokes they make about it. That's the level of adult humor in Has-Been Hotel. Next, a spaceship type vehicle is shown destroying the city. We're taken inside the ship and introduced to this way overacted voice acting mess.
Those other cowardly sinners dare not hinder my territorial takeover. A wise decision. The power of my machines are unmatched. No other demon can compare to the likes of I.
Whoever did the voice acting for this character overacted the lines so much to the point where it's, for lack of a better word, cringy and frankly painful to watch and listen to. Also, just a little side note, but if you're someone who invalidates my entire review just because I called something cringy, then you're a dumbass. This type of overacting and voice acting is common among cartoons designed for young children. But this is a cartoon designed for adults. Mind you, I'm not trying to say that adults can't enjoy things made for children. I live near Disney World and I go all the time, almost every day, and I love it. But Disney World knows how to properly cater towards all ages. There's always something there for everyone. But Hazbin Hotel does it the exact wrong way. If you watch for the adult humor, you have to suffer through the juvenile nature of everything else in the show. If you watch because it's a cartoon and you're 12 years old, you will definitely enjoy the juvenile nature of the show, but the adult jokes will not only confuse you, but will scar you for life, because children shouldn't be exposed to the level of adult humor that exists in Hazbin Hotel. And I'm not saying that that's any fault of the creators, but I find it so strange that a show geared towards older audiences is just so immature in nature, to the point where if this was shown on Nickelodeon in a family's home, and the parent isn't paying attention too much, they probably wouldn't realize it's any different from any other cartoon on Nickelodeon, in terms of how it sounds at least, with the thousands of sound effects, overacted voice acting, and simple face value basic humor. After some time, we're introduced to yet another new character who breaks through the glass, threatening to smash this guy's ship. Then it cuts to a news report where we are introduced to 2 more characters. So we're 5 minutes in, including the title sequence, and we've already been introduced to 5 characters. That's way too much. That's way too many characters for that period of time. In this news report, we have some lovely adult humor.
Looks like they're fighting tooth and nail for that hotspot.
And I'd sure like to nail her hot spot.
You are a lip dick jackass, Tom. Or should I say, no dick.
I'm laughing and crying. That was so funny. Oh my god. Literally, like, a 12-year-old wrote this, is what it seems like. Next, we're introduced to another 2 characters. We are now 5 minutes and 48 seconds in, and we've been introduced to 7 characters. Homophobic joke alert! Homophobic joke! Illegal homophobic joke! There's gonna be a announcement about this!
Hi, I'm Charlie.
Katie Killjoy. I'd say it's a pleasure to meet you, but that would be a lie. You can put that away. I don't touch the gays. I have standards.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
Oh my god, it's so homophobic. I am gay, myself. This joke caused Twitter to go insane. Many people on Twitter have been saying that the whole show is homophobic because of what this character said. But the point of the show is that everyone lives in hell. They're in hell because they're bad people. This character is a stereotype of a mean person, a self-absorbed person who only cares about fame and money. That's what this character is supposed to be. This is not supposed to be a role model. This is not someone we want to champion LGBT rights. They're supposed to be a bad person. Of course, they're gonna say bad things. Literally, these 2 characters right here are in a relationship, and they're both women, and they're shown caring about each other. Oh, and as the show continues on, by the way, we'll start to see this character right here has a bit of a temperament, gets angry a lot. And many people are calling the show racist. This person is gray. They're gray. No one is gray. There's not a single person on earth whose skin is gray. What the hell, man? It's not a race. How can this be racist? People are so dumb. But to top it all off, there's even people saying stuff like this. Full offense, Hazbin Hotel looks just based on the art style alone. And then 2 seconds into researching it, you find out that 1, the show is 2, the creator is So basically, Vibe Check was a success. It looks based on the art style alone. Are you retarded? Literally? This is the type of person who's gonna get offended because I asked if they're retarded. But I mean, how else can you say something that stupid? And what? Watch all the Twitter accusations. PK Russell is ableist. Everyone who says that is also retarded. How about that? If you call me ableist for using that word, you're retarded. So tired of this stupid culture on the internet. Everyone is so stupid. Stop being so stupid. I don't even know how people come to these conclusions. What the hell, man? This reminds me, at Disney World and Disneyland, Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride, there used to be a scene in which the pirates would be selling a red-headed woman, like auctioning her off as a wench. And so Disney recently changed it to make the red-headed woman an actual pirate equal with the other pirates that were actually selling her in the first version of the ride. And I've heard so many people while I've been on the ride say, wow, now young girls have someone to look up to, a role model to look up to. But it's like, what are you talking about? She's a pirate. Pirates pillage villages. They kill and rape people. How is that a role model? She's a pirate. These are not the people you want to be role models. The reason they were selling her in the first place is because they're pirates. They do bad things. Pirates are supposed to do bad things. They're not supposed to be role models. They're supposed to be people you don't want to be like. They're supposed to do bad things. Just like this character is not supposed to be a role model. We don't want this person championing LGBT rights. They're just a mean person who's self-absorbed, obsessed with fame and money. They're not a good person. We're not supposed to want this person on our side. So I don't know why people are so mad. It's a joke. You know what I'm saying? People are just so dumb. I don't understand. I've gotten ahead of myself. I've gone off on a tangent. We need to get back and focus, okay? So Charlie, who is this girl, goes on to explain on the news that she wants to end the extermination, which from what we can infer is a government procedure similar to the Purge or Hunger Games, a nasty tradition in the government of hell where Hazbin Hotel takes place to control the population. She plans to end the extermination by opening a hotel where sinners, the citizens of hell, can redeem themselves to escape hell.
I have a dream. I'm here to tell about a wonderful, fantastic new hotel.
And then she sings a song for some reason. There goes any interest I had left in the show. Overused trope alert! Overused trope alert! She sings and puts on an absolutely huge performance all about her idea, and then at the end of the performance, what does everyone do? First, we have a juvenile joke.
Wow! That was shit.
And then everyone starts laughing. Literally one of the most overused tropes in video history, whether it's films, TV shows, etc. A character explains a grand plan or ambition they have, or a character puts on a huge performance. Here it's a combination of the two, and at the end everyone laughs at them. The concept of the show is great so far. The idea of a civilization in hell and someone creating a hotel to rehabilitate people out of it is a really interesting concept that has a lot of potential. But with all the overused tropes and themes, it feels like I'm watching literally any other cartoon on Nickelodeon or whatever. The concept is unique, but the execution is very cookie cutter with a few adult jokes thrown in here and there, you know, and lots of bad words. It's disappointing because I really do think the concept for the series has a great potential, but it seems like the writers try to make it feel like every other cartoon that already exists, without doing anything unique to set it apart from anything else. I think that will ultimately hurt it in the long run. Charlie explains that this guy is actually the first patron of the Hazbin Hotel, and we learned that his name is Angel Dust. Remember him from the beginning of the episode? And as Charlie's explaining this, word comes into the news station in the form of a breaking news report that Angel Dust has been spotted as a player in the ongoing conflict between Spaceship Guy and Crazy Woman. Angel Dust explains how he ended up at the Hazbin Hotel, and then literally out of nowhere, this happens.
Oh, harder, Daddy.
This happens literally out of nowhere, and there's absolutely no explanation as to why it happened. Now, sometimes random humor that happens out of nowhere can be funny, but in this example, as with many other examples of humor in this show, it seems like the writers just thought that being inappropriate for absolutely no reason at all, being inappropriate for the sake of being inappropriate, out of literally nowhere, they thought it was funny for some reason. This reminds me a lot of Lele Pons level humor. Just random stuff happening for no reason and expecting people to laugh. Random equals funny, you know? The three players in this ongoing battle end up all confronting each other. And you guessed it, the first thing that happens is an inappropriate gay joke.
Is your hat, like, alive or something?
Oh, well, that's none of your business. Now is it?
Would that make your hat the top and you the bottom?
Whose humor comes only from the fact that it's inappropriate and gay. This is followed by yet another not straight joke. I can't keep saying the actual word or YouTube might demonetize me.
I'm going to blow you to bits.
Kinky.
Also, right after that, the Roblox oof can be heard for some reason. Then, as the brawling escalates between all parties, the scene ends with yet another classic trope, showing all parties head-to-head with each other. After that, we ride along in a limo with Angel Dust, Charlie, and Charlie's girlfriend, whose name is Vaggie. And in this scene, Vaggie scolds Angel Dust, and there's excessive use of the F word. I think the writers wrote that in because they want you to remember this is an adult show. So they can say the F word, right? It doesn't add anything at all. It's just kind of said randomly, not used for emphasis, just kind of thrown around because adult show, right? That's a huge pet peeve of mine with any video media, whether it's movies, TV shows, is the excessive use of the F word just to be edgy and adult, when it adds no value being there. It's okay when it contributes to the overall picture of the whole show, but when it's just unnecessary, it's just, you'd come off as trying to be edgy for the sake of being edgy. When they arrive in the hotel, it appears completely run down and abandoned. No new souls have shown up to be rehabilitated, and the writers missed out on a great opportunity for character development. Angel Dust says this joke,
"It's probably a good idea to get some actual food in this place. You know, to feed all the wayward souls you got in here."
right here, where he pauses and walks away. What if he kept walking towards Charlie to comfort her? Show a softer side that he doesn't show publicly. I think the writers missed a great opportunity to make Angel Dust a non-one-dimensional character, but no, they had to make him basic AF and one-dimensional AF, just an a-hole constantly. There's a knock at the door of the hotel, and when the door is opened, we are introduced to yet another new character. This one has a weird radio voice for some reason.
Alistair, pleasure to be meeting you, sweetheart. Quite a pleasure. Excuse my sudden visit, but I saw your fiasco on the picture show.
He is a radio host, but it is an interesting idea, but honestly, after a few lines, it's just annoying to listen to. It's more difficult to understand what he's saying with that effect on than anyone else, especially with the pretty loud background music that's playing. Vaggie then tells the story of the radio guy and how he's actually an evil person who shouldn't be trusted, very similar to how everyone who replied to my tweet asking what Has Been Hotel was saying that Vivzy Pop is an evil person. Both this girl and the people trying to say that Vivzy Pop is evil are equally annoying. Just shut the fuck up. Conversations are had, things are said between characters for a while, and then literally, unprovoked, out of nowhere, this happens.
And what can you do, my effeminate fellow?
I can suck your dick.
Ha! No.
For some reason, people on Twitter found this to be hilarious. It's not funny. This is the epitome of trying too hard to be funny, literally. Just more 12-year-old level dirty humor that happens out of nowhere. Is the randomness supposed to make it funny? Does random equal funny? Apparently people think that this joke is also... Someone posted this clip on Twitter, and then of course you had people quote retweet it, saying stuff like, "See, it's funny, cause he's and all think like this. See how funny we are and not stuck in 2015? Please laugh at us." This was on Manga Comments Twitter who posted that screenshot. That's how I came across it. But yeah, Angel Dust is a crazy person who's obsessed with adult activity. It is a stereotype of the people, right? But you're also completely ignoring these two, who are a healthy relationship. They both care about each other so much, and they're both women. It's like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Angel Dust is a bad person. That's why he's in hell, dude. That's the whole point. Being a person who's attracted to the same gender is not what makes him a bad person. He's a bad person because he's a bad person who just happens to be attracted to the same gender, right? Believe it or not, in real life, there are people who are bad people. Not every character has to be a perfect little angel. That's what Manga commented and said, and I agree. I'm getting sick of seeing these posts, and I'm sick of seeing those posts get so much support, especially when they're based on lies. Hard agree. Everyone needs to sit down and shut the hell up, dude, when it comes to anything. Saying that the freaking show is racist because of a gray character? What the hell, man? Saying that it's... Just stop. Stop being a dumbass and just watch the damn show, dude. It's so annoying and it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I'm tired of it. Everyone else is tired of it too. All this outrage that you see, typically it's the vocal minority, and it's definitely the case with Has Been Hotel. Because if we go to the actual video, look at the like to dislike ratio. It's overwhelmingly positive. That ratio is insane. But if you look at it just on Twitter alone, it seems like everyone has a negative opinion of it. But it's not true. That's the vocal minority. So don't be fooled by these people on Twitter who get outraged about literally everything and literally make up lies so that they can be outraged about stuff. You know what I'm saying? 99.9% of people do not think that way. You just see it a lot more because those are the only people who are vocal, is that very small percentage of people. They're always screaming and yelling like little babies on Twitter, and that's all you see on Twitter. Because normal people like you and me just don't care. So we don't talk, well, I guess I'm making a video, but we don't normally talk about it. TV guy then summons some hotel staff from somewhere. The first girl he summons cleans everything, and then the second guy says the F word about 30 times because, remember, we are watching an adult show, and we must not forget it.
You have a dream. You wish to tell.
Then there's another song, for some reason. Spaceship Guy tries to attack the hotel, Radio Guy stops him with his insane levels of power, and then what other way to end the episode than with yet another overused trope of all the characters who've teamed up walking into the sunset, except it's a hotel rather than the sunset. And you guessed it, there's a post-credit scene with yet another overused trope. The enemy who is defeated hasn't really been defeated. Oh my god, who could have guessed? Oh. Overall, Has-Been Hotel sucks and I hate it. Well, I'm not really kidding. I actually don't like it, but that was too mean. Let's take a look at objective things first, okay? Objectively, the animation is great. Notice how I haven't said anything about the animation. When something is good, there's not much to say about it. Now, I am not invested in the knowledge of technical animation, but I'm representing the interests of the common viewer. And to me, a common viewer, the animation looks great. It looks fine. I didn't really have anything to complain about in terms of the animation. I'm sure if you are an animation student or you do animation, you might have some things to say, you might have some criticisms, but it looked fine to me. It looked okay to me. The art is very high quality, but the art style is a thing that I have a little bit of an issue with, not much. I do like the style that the characters are drawn in. I think that's a very nice style, abstract style. It's pretty neat looking. Reminds me a lot of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. The only thing is that a lot of the colors are the same. There's so much red, and I know that you are in hell, right? But it's like everything is red. It's difficult sometimes to distinguish what is even a character and what isn't a character. It's just a very busy art style. There's so much going on. It's very difficult to focus on one thing that's happening. The designs of the characters are very unique and interesting, but many of them are also over-designed. They go past the point of being unique to the point where it's just difficult to look at because your eyes don't know what to focus on. There's too many details. So now that we've said that, let's move on to my opinion. Woo! If this were an animation meme, it would get 40 out of 20. But this is not an animation meme. It's an actual adult show, so it's held to a much higher standard than animation memes. One thing that really annoys me is there's just too many sound effects. There's like 5 sound effects per second.
Bury you.
And we're live.
Welcome back. Go, Charlotte.
It's Charlie.
Whatever. Tell us about this new passion project you've been insistently pestering our news station about.
I think it's dumb to have unnecessary sound effects in the first place. That's something you see a lot in children's cartoons, where you have sound effects when someone moves or when someone slouches over. You know, when it's unnecessary, it's just, for lack of a better word, cringy. Honestly, it's just too much. It's like, why would someone make a noise when they slouch over? It just makes no sense. The bone cracking sound that the news reporter makes, why is that there? Why, what the heck? It's just unnecessary, and it doesn't really contribute anything. Tone it down with the sound effects, my God. Another huge problem that I have is that the show tries way too hard to be funny. The jokes are so shallow, so face value. They're just thrown in randomly. It's like they're just trying so hard to be funny, and it just comes off as really uncomfortable. It's like watching a 12-year-old do a stand-up act at a school talent show. It's just trying way too hard to be funny to the point where it's not funny, you know? But people who are 12 years old would probably think that it's hilarious. The jokes are really dumb. And they're not well thought out at all. They're not well written at all. They're so face value, just like all the other jokes. It reminds me of the jokes that I would hear my freshman year in high school, or when I was in 7th or 6th grade, you know? But the jokes are definitely not. They're just bad jokes. They're just not good in the first place. Too many characters are introduced way too fast, so it's difficult to even tell what's going on, especially when combined with this crazy art style that has way too much visual information. It's difficult to follow what's happening. And when you include the sound effects also, there's so many sound effects, so much happening, it's just chaos. It's a mess. It leaves me asking the question, what is happening? So to sum it all up, if this were made as a children's cartoon and there was no adult humor, or if the adult humor was on the level of like what's in SpongeBob, right? Then this would be a great children's cartoon because it has the same energy as a children's cartoon. It has the same type of humor as a children's cartoon. Very face value, easy for kids to understand, so on and so forth. But this is an adult cartoon geared towards older audiences, but it retains that same juvenile level of humor. When I was 12 years old, I would have loved this show. I would have loved this. But now when I'm 22, it's just painful to sit through. The humor is so bad, it's so childish. It's like, I can't even believe that this is geared towards adults. So here's my little conspiracy theory. This is just a theory, but I think it's an interesting one. I think I know what's going on here. This is an adult cartoon made for children. This is a niche that has yet to be filled. Think about it. When do you start learning about, usually when you're like 12 years old. That's when you start making jokes. Family Guy is a show filled with adult humor that's very basic, but most 12-year-olds don't understand Family Guy because Family Guy relies on references, it relies on innuendos. Most 12-year-olds just won't understand it, right? So 12-year-olds can't watch something like Family Guy and enjoy it. They're stuck with the children's cartoons they have, even though they're starting to learn what all this is. So something like Hazbin Hotel with very, very basic adult humor appeals very much to like 12-year-olds. Because I cannot see any adult watching this and thinking that it's funny. But it wouldn't surprise me because many adults in the art and animation community act like 12-year-olds. So it wouldn't surprise me if they thought it was funny. Overall, it's impressive that a 30-minute pilot episode of a full-fledged animation was able to be made and uploaded to YouTube. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like this on YouTube before. I like that people are making stuff like this. I like that. I think it's cool. The animation was very good. The art was very good. You know, the quality of animation and the production value of it is so much higher than most animations on YouTube. Think about Storytime animators versus this, you know? Think about animation memes versus this. I really like that something with this high of a production value is being made. But the thing is, production value is only part of the story. The actual content is what matters more than anything when it comes to a series of videos that is story-oriented like this. Good animation is not gonna save you from poor writing. It's not gonna save you from bad jokes. It's not gonna save you from juvenile humor. That's what this series has in droves. If I were to rate this out of 10, I'd probably give it a 5. It's very middle of the ground, very mediocre, in my opinion. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen by any means, but it's so far from being amazing. But those are just my thoughts. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Should I make more reviews of animation? Let me know. Big thanks to all my patrons. You can become a patron today by clicking on the link down below, patreon.com/PKRUSSL. Without my patrons, none of this would be possible. Their names are being displayed on your screen right now. Thank you so much, lovely patrons. Wouldn't be able to do it without you. And if you have suggestions for future topics of videos, feel free to tag me and tweet at me at PKRUSSL on Twitter. Buy my merch, I have shirts, I have mugs, I have other products. PKRUSSL.com, link down below. Send me a picture of yourself holding or wearing my merch by tagging me at PKRUSSL on Twitter, and I will include you in a video. Also, there was one person who did that, and I lost their image. Please send it to me again, because I lost the image. It was so far back in my Twitter notifications, I can't scroll back all that way. So please send it to me again. DM it to me even if you want to, and I'll include it in a video. I apologize for that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye!
I've got the time.